This is Joanna. It is so great to have you guys with me. In today's tutorial, I am going to do two things. The first 5 minutes, I am going to actually show you how to create those pendants. And after that, I am going to do some wire wrapping. Now, I'm not very good at wire wrapping, which is to say that if you are a really good wire wrapper, you may not want to watch the second part of the video because it's kind of gruesome, but it also shows that even with little experience, you can create a decent wire wrapped pendant. So let me show you how I made this. And we are starting off with some bronze clay. I'm going to add a little bit of black to a little piece of bronze, and then another one. It's going to be bronze and pearl, and then I have black on the side. I'm going to mix those really good. And here you have it. I have bronze in the middle. On the left is bronze and black. On the right is bronze and pearl. And I also have some scraps that I rolled out, and that's going to be the bottom of my pendants. And I also have some black clay. So let's concentrate on the black clay for a minute. I am going to use glitter, and I'm going to mix it into the clay. And this glitter is so beautiful. It's holographic, but it really has nothing to do with it because I just love the color. I'm going to let you guys know in the description what glitter it is, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's like espresso, mocha, some kind of coffee color. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be mixing in as much glitter into that clay as I can possibly fit in. So I'm just going to be adding until I cannot add any longer. And this is not all that I added. I actually added even more. I just didn't want to spend time to show you guys how I'm mixing it. But you basically want to saturate that black clay with the glitter. And then I'm going to roll out all my pieces on the thickest setting of the pasta machine, and I'm slicing them. That's all I'm doing. It's just slice by hand. No really rhyme reason. And once we have everything sliced nicely, I'm going to start working on the pendant. Now I'm taking all the pieces and I'm putting them in the random order. At first it's in a row, and then I'm going to start stacking them one on top of the other. So it's actually going to be probably 1/2 inch thick or so. So you just make sure that everything is nicely lined up. That's all that matters. So I want to keep the integrity of those lines, but yet I don't want to have any bubbles within my little piece of clay. So you have to kind of squeeze it and move it around and squeeze it, but you don't want to do anything else to it. So basically you just want to keep those lines untouched, or as much untouched as possible. So now we are ready to start slicing, and I'm going to start slicing it lengthwise and placing it on my scraps. And now you guys will see all that beautiful glitter just popping out. It is just truly beautiful. I absolutely love how it looks. Once the clay is all placed on the scraps, just use paper to smooth it out, and it just looks so beautiful. And at this point, we can start cutting different shapes, and it's your imagination is the world. So here I'm going to be using actually the inset, and it came out pretty nice. And of course I have to do a hand, free cut piece as well, because I love the free cut pieces. And that is pretty much it for the pendant. Now of course I'm not going to get rid of the scraps, I'm going to use them. So with the scraps I'm just going to slice them and create a couple of extra pendants, which actually came out pretty nice from the scraps. And there you have it. I think that they are really nice, and I think I have learned that I am not using the scraps as much as I wanted to, so I'm just better off using them at the time when I'm making all the pendants. And here they are already baked, and I'm applying resin to it. Now I usually don't show you guys how I apply the resin, but I want to show you the difference between the pendants. When you apply the resin, the glitter and the metallic just pops out, and it's absolutely stunning. So after you apply the resin, we are going to torch it. You want to get rid of all the bubbles that are in the pendant, so don't burn it, just torch it. There's a difference between the two. So just run it through and make sure that there are no bubbles. And now the most important part, yes, I know your house is way cleaner than mine, but cover those suckers so that they can dry in peace. And without dust. I wanted to show you what I made with those. I added a little chime to this one. It was so cute with the butterfly, and for that one I even put those hearts before I baked the pendant, so the resin is on top. But let me show you how I did my wire wrapping. I'm grabbing 2 wires. They are 24 gauge, so they are very thin, so I felt that I needed to do 2, and they are copper in color, so they match the pendant very well. And I start from the front, and you can see I'm making a little loop, and I go to the back and I'm going to twist it around, kind of to fasten it, so you have that little loop that is holding onto your pendant at the bottom. And now it is all about creating the loop that is going to hold my string, or however I'm going, whatever I'm going to, or my cord, whatever I'm going to use for my pendant. Now I'm not making it gracefully, but it works. So I'm holding the wire in the back with my finger, and now I'm bringing it over. Now you can see that I have 4 wires in my hand because now they doubled, and I'm going to do 2 nice wraps around the top, and then the rest of the wrapping I'm going to do around the little hook on the very top. The pendants that you see on the top left, I already made them and wire wrapped them, and I wanted to zoom on what I was doing too close, and everything was off camera, so I had to redo it, and there you have it. It's coming out really, really nice. So now I have to contemplate what to do with the wire in the back, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have watched some more wire wrapping videos, but I figured, you know, I can do it. So what do I come up with? I'm just gonna tuck it. I'm gonna tuck it under the wires. I'm gonna tuck those 4 wires under the wires that are already there, because you really can create a really nice hold just twisting the wires together. So I figured that all those wires are going to go under the wire that is already attached to the pendant, and you know, aesthetically it's not going to be very pleasing to the eye, the back of my pendant, but I mean, do I really care? I'm not selling those. These are just for me, so I'm just looking for an easy way out that is, you know, that is decent to hold my wire. So it's really up to you what you're going to do in the back, but basically the wire has to be somehow twisted around other wires so that it's not gonna let go, because otherwise all your wire wrapping is gonna go to trash. So I'm just gonna trim it now, and I'm going to give it a nice squeeze, and I think I'm gonna trim. I think I'm gonna trim, and I better trim and trim it a little bit more, yes, than I do. I forgot what I was doing, but you just give it a nice squeeze, and it really does hold nice together. Now you can go in the back and you can tighten the wires. Actually, this pendant doesn't really require it, but you would go in the back and you would twist the wires just like that, you know, the little like a little, you know, towards the right, and it tightens the wires in the front. Now you're going to see that better on my second pendant. Now, so here's on the left my first pendant that I created, and I don't have the footage of it, and the right one. So they're a little bit different, but still very similar. Super easy technique. So let me show you the second one. And this one I'm using a 20 gauge wire that is bronze. And I'm starting from the back, and I'm going to do like a crisscross in the front. Now those 2 wire techniques are so super simple. I think they must be for beginners because obviously I'm doing it. So you have the crisscross, and now we are going to take it to the back, and we're going to create the loop for our cord. So I'm not doing it very gracefully. I'm sure that you guys can do it way better than I do, but let's create a loop so that you can put your cord in. And now once the loop is done, we can continue with the wire wrapping on top. And basically we're just going to take it and go around the top a few times, as many times as you want really. I went 3 times around, and then I went a few times around my little loop. You know, if you wanted to, you probably could start the wrapping around even halfway. That would look pretty nice as well. So after I'm done wrapping around the hook, I'm going to kind of move my attention to the bottom wire. So that's the crisscross wire. So it's almost like tying a shoe. It's kind of stuck there. It's not going to go anywhere. So now I decided that I'm just going to trim it, and I have seen some people do it, trim it and create a little loop. Now, I'm sure that your loop is going to be way prettier than mine, but that's what I'm going for. And you're going to see that in my first pendant, I actually put something in the middle of that loop just to make it prettier, but I'm going to leave it without anything. So now let's concentrate on the back again, and of course the tack it underneath method is going to work for me. So I'm just going to find a wire that is already there, and I'm tacking this my top wire underneath. I'll put it around that wire a few times, and that is going to be it for me. Now I'm going to tighten the wires on this pendant a little bit more. So you can see that I'm going and I'm tightening the wires just by making that little movement towards the right, like a little twist, just like this is going to tighten the wires for you, so they're not sticking up, and that the pendant is sitting really nicely in the wire wrap. So you can go around, just make sure that all the wires are nice and tight, and that's exactly what I did here. So I was very lucky I didn't have any sharp ends, but that's something that you would want to look for. You don't want to have any sharp ends on the back so they cut your shirt. So on the left hand side is my first wire that I don't have the recording of, and you can see that metal piece, and basically what it is, I just took a metal brad, and I cut off the long part, and I used E6000 to attach it to the center, and I thought that it just looked great. But you know, there you have it with the brad. It looks fantastic. Without the brad, looks great as well. But I had so much fun making those pendants, and that glitter that I'm telling you about, oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. It's such a gorgeous shimmer. I can't even explain it, and you can see it in the video. Well, my friends, so what do you guys think about wire wrapping and the glitter and everything? Make sure that you let me know what you think about this whole project, because it was so fun to make, and there's a lot to learn about wire wrapping. So I have learned. Well, my friends, it was great hanging out with you guys. Until next time. Ta-ta!